What's up, y'all? We back. I know we late. Forgive us. My sound effects is a little bit down right now. Hopefully they come back up here shortly. We're working on it. But technical difficulties couldn't stop us from bringing y'all this cloth talk. It's me, Prophet the Problem, your boy Smashes Clay. We're gonna get my man Shy P in here at some point tonight. And then hopefully we got another special guest. You know what I'm saying? We working on that too. We had to drop off something special because we late. But in the meantime, in between time, y'all welcome my man Smashes. I don't got my hand claps, but I'll give them to you manually until we get it up and running. Man, it's been an interesting week, Smash.
It has.
It's been a real interesting week, man. Where you want to start, man? I'm gonna let you take it away, man. I know we've been through. We've had quite a bit to discuss, man.
Oh man, hold on. I mean, where you want to start, man?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Hit the mic. I want to start by talking about these Bucks.
Okay. So the Nets. So you want to start with the Nets losing?
I do. I really want to start there just so we can get it out the way.
Okay.
Just so we can get it out the way.
Hey,
I'm gonna give you the cam for a second. I'm still here.
Man. I'm crushing these Obey wings. So excuse me for being, black.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong. Ain't nothing wrong with the Old Bay wings. I know you probably got some lemon peppers in there too. Some lemon pepper loos. No lemon pepper loos.
Straight Obey, man. Straight Obey.
Hey, straight ex-girlfriend wings. Everybody likes those.
Best,
man, well, I will say this, man. Not only are you crushing those wings, but did the Nets get crushed or did they just beat themselves?
All right, so Game 7, KD balled out. Let's be honest, he balled out. But it's the rest of the cast not showing up the way they should have. At the same time, they could have won. KD would have hit that shot at the end. We wouldn't even be talking about nothing else.
Technically, he did hit the shot. He just, big toe.
Right. I think Joe Harris not showing up in Game 7 was big. More than anybody else, because Joe Harris is a sniper. Let's be real. Joe Harris is a sniper. He's one of my favorite players, for real.
I remember you mentioned him last week.
Joe Harris not showing up in Game 7 was major. Had he shown up more, had he did more, that game may not, even if he hit 3 of those 3, that game wouldn't have been as close as it was because that last shot wouldn't have mattered. So to me,
the game shouldn't have came down to that last shot. I agree.
It was a great Game 7 though.
Overtime. It was a good Game 7. I still don't want the Bucks to go to the championship, which is why I put money on them this morning. I felt like where my money goes, so does that curse. I'm just going to endorse their loss. I'm sorry. But it was, like you said, it was a good Game 7. Let me ask you this, because beyond what we all know, right? KD played his heart out. He did great. I think a lot of the stigma about him not being able to hold the team on his own shoulders is going to go out of the window, though a lot of people are going to laugh at the amount of money that the Nets put into this team for them just to not go to the finals, which can be said about a couple different franchises, Los Angeles, as far as with the Lakers. Even I wouldn't say they broke the bank there. It was still a lot invested in that team still for them not to go to the playoffs when, to me, they were one of the teams who were playoff bound. Yep. The Nets, the Clippers, which, time will tell, but it, not looking good.
It's not. It might be Suns 4-0.
I'm going to be honest with you. At this point,
Kawhi, they say Kawhi's out Game 3. That's major. If you lose Game 3, you're down 3-0.
Can Paul George, this is his test. This is his moment. To me, this is where he makes or breaks his legacy. I'm not saying that he has to beat the Suns, but if he can give us one more good outing at least one more solid good showing, I feel like that we're gonna see, a lot of the playoff P talk really taper off. A broken clock is right twice a day. And with the NBA, you got to say is a broken clock right twice a season.
Yeah.
Can he repeat this performance, or is this just a one and done effort from him at this point? So I reserve my judgment on the Clippers, but back to the Nets. I don't see them sticking together. I don't see that I don't think that they do another season. The only thing that may possibly lead to them doing another one is the fact that they had those injuries late in the season, which absolutely showed up to kind of hurt them in the playoffs without having Kyrie. But do they move Kyrie and move on to somebody else? The offseason to me is going to get interesting.
I think with them, this was just, they really didn't even get a full season together, if you want to be real. Harden came in at the end. Then he was injured. Kyrie was in and out injured. Then he got injured. KD was in and out injured. I think, but it leads into another topic that I'm gonna wait for. I'm gonna wait for Cap for, but I don't know.
Remember, his name is no longer Cap, it's Shad P.
Oh, I'm sorry, Shad P. Shad P. I gotta change his name on my phone and everything.
Likewise, I just saw that today as well.
But I feel like a full offseason together, they need a big man. I feel I go back to that old school Kobe Shaq. You need that solid big man. I mean, the Warriors also.
That's the point that I was making last week as well.
I mean, the Warriors showed us that you don't need it. I mean, they won championships, no big man. Draymond Green was their big man. So, I don't know. It depends, man. The way the East is, I feel like you do have to have a big man in the East. You got Joel Embiid. You got Bam Adebayo.
He's a 4. He's not a big man.
Yeah,
like he's a big point guard. He's not a 5. You know what? And this is just me, right?
You know I like Bam.
Bam.
You know I like Bam, man.
I put it this way, man. You know, he's not trash. He has his role.
He's serviceable.
I just feel like they play him out of position, in my opinion. What I mean by that is this. You can't put Von Miller at safety and expect him to give you the same level of play that he would at linebacker. And you can make that face, but it's like, yeah, you'll be good, but you'll still be a very good linebacker playing safety. You'll never be a great safety who's a good linebacker. You know what I'm saying? It's all right, man. We got some young cloth in the building.
We're talking sports. You want to talk? Say hi. Say hi.
It's all good, man.
Okay, it took you a while. But yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. Like Von Miller at safety, I get it. Bam, he's playing out of position. I don't know, man. I also think that the Nets, it came down, and this is where I rarely agree with Stephen A. Smith, and he said it. It came down to coaching. It came down to coaching, and
okay,
one, he played. Steve Nash relied on KD a little too much. He was tired. That's why that final shot went the way it went, where he airballed it. He was tired.
To me, they shouldn't see, and this is where I agree with you. You shouldn't have went for 3 there. You should have went for overtime. To me, you should have went to push this thing as far as you can. You manage the game, and in moments like that, you don't rely on talent. You rely on high percentage buckets. Yep. And I think that's where the coaching piece of that comes in at. You're not gonna and to get to that, it's a great transition. Look at what the Suns did for their last play. They didn't try to win it with they went for the high percentage bucket, the most high percentage bucket of all.
Yep.
And it happened to be in the form of an oop, but if they had like half a second more, you don't think they would have tried to put the ball on the floor? You know what I'm saying? Hey.
You said hey.
It's all good. But
Yeah. Tell him.
You said you got a question?
Yes.
Say it. Say it.
What's the question?
Yeah, say it.
I told y'all we was gonna have special guests today. Here's one of them right here.
Better put up the L for Lakers.
Liquor.
There you go.
You know, there's a lot of young propaganda going on too. This is why, you know what I'm saying, you gotta watch what you get your kids exposed to, ladies and
Hey
gentlemen.
man, she's an Eagles fan. That's all that matters.
At the end of the day, you're absolutely right.
That's all that matters.
Love it.
But as far as, you know, let me see. Right now, in game 1, Bucks are down by 3 in
Ooh.
the third quarter.
They are down. You know what's crazy? I bet on the Bucks today.
Apple.
I'm gonna act like
I told you who I put my money on, and it looks like my money's doing its job.
my cash app is gonna be broken in a little while.
Oh no.
Apple.
I'm gonna tell you what the thing was, and this is not a paid advertisement, but I woke up this morning and went to my FanDuel sports book and noticed that I had 100 beans waiting to be put on whatever I wanted to. And when I tell you, I made some bets that I know probably aren't gonna go through, but because, you know, I just don't want them to go through. But on the other side, you know, I also made some bets that I feel like it's gonna cash out. And for those who asking, yes, I already got money on Philly. Holla at me. We taking that division. That's where my chip's at. But, you know, that's
As we
just the
should.
board.
Hey.
As we should.
Hey, see, that's what I'm talking about. She knows what's up.
I wanted.
But
Okay.
So
the
I got a question
Uh-huh.
for you.
Yes,
I was
sir.
I was on Clubhouse last night. We were having a little sports discussion,
Mommy.
and the homies were having a discussion about who would you rather take, Kevin Porter Jr. or Tim Hardaway Jr. So before you answer, my homeboy Jew, shout out to Jew. Jew was talking percentages. He was going off of the numbers. He's a numbers guy. Right. That's what I said. I love Jew, but Jew was going off of the numbers. He was saying, going off of the numbers, he's taking Tim Hardaway Jr. I'm going off of what I see. I mean, they both suck, but I'm probably going to go Kevin Porter. I would go Kevin Porter Jr. personally, because I feel like he gives me more of a dog than Tim Hardaway does. Now, if this was young Tim when he first came in with the Knicks, we might be able to talk a little different. Tim with Atlanta was okay, but Tim with the Knicks was a dog.
It really depends on what team you putting them on. Because to me, it comes down to, do you need a dog or do you need a veteran with some dog in them? You know what I'm saying?
And I liked him. But
And that's where I say you make the difference. Like, in my opinion, if they're going to Miami, you know what I'm saying, I'll take Porter Jr. You know what I'm saying? Now, if we're going somewhere like, you know, just to kind of throw it out there, let's say we're going somewhere like, let's say Denver. Let's say if you're going somewhere like Denver, I'm going to go Hardaway Jr.
So you would take Kevin Porter off of Denver and put Tim Hardaway on Denver?
Absolutely. And the reason why is because you got a lot of young talent in there and a veteran presence. Sometimes talent is good, but it does nothing with no direction. You know what I'm saying? And ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to add to the pod my man Shad P, ladies and gentlemen.
Shad P.
Now, my sound effects are still coming up, so I apologize. But y'all have brought special guests to keep the sound effects live. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all for this. Y'all didn't even know, but we got it in here. Young Cloth in the building all day long. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tip my glass to the new generation. Hopefully, the Eagles fans.
Hey.
Salud.
Hey, there we go. The Young Cloth is in the building. Let them get their shine, man. Shout out to all the fathers. I know it's a late Father's Day, but happy Father's Day. As you see, we got fathers in the cloth up here, men in the cloth. How's it going, young princesses, young queens? I'll tip my glass. I see you got your sippy cup. I don't know what's in there, but you know what's in mine.
It's natural. Whatever's in there is natural.
So is this. All from the earth. Sweet tea. mixed with a little bit of the naughty water, if you know what I mean. But Shad, we were just in here having a conversation about when we first talked about Brooklyn and their fall from grace. And we touched on a little bit of KD being leaned on a little bit too much. I felt like they should have went for the high percentage bucket instead of trying to go for the coup de grace at the end, push it for overtime, try to win it when you got time and not win it in the seconds where you don't have time, regardless of how big his feet are. It should have never came down to that one play in the first place, in my opinion.
Here's the thing. Is he not allegedly the best player in the world? Is he not allegedly the best player in the world?
Wow.
Do we cut LeBron James the same slack that we would one Kevin Durant? Last night we don't cut Ramon James that particular slack that we do Kevin Wayne Bryant.
So I will say this. I'm on the side of things like this. I feel like, does it hurt KD's legacy at all that he lost? I'm going to say no. And the reason why I say that is because it's two different stories. You're talking about Snow White and Cinderella when it comes to LeBron and KD. LeBron doesn't have the adage that he can't do it by himself. He went to Cleveland and did that and proved himself. KD always has had that adage since he's went to Golden State that he cannot win by himself. I believe that he showed he can do that in Brooklyn, but he didn't do it when it counted. And I believe that he will never be known as a champion who can get it done by himself. But I believe the stigma of him being able to be a playmaker of, in his own arena, I believe that fell off. Just like, we need my man Pandemic P to come off with one more showing. If he can give us one more, like I told Keith, he can give us one more showing like he did last time where, he's got that fight in him, he's got that dog in him. Broken clocks are right twice a day. And like I said, in the NBA, a broken clock can be right twice a season. But I feel like we need to make sure that this wasn't an anomaly, that this wasn't a mistake. He's got to do something in this series, regardless of the Suns being as hot as the sun right now. You got to blemish that record. That you can't, for you to maintain your legacy, this is your moment of time, and you can't let this just, pass by facetiously and get clipped. No pun intended.
Well, I think he has one more virtuoso type performance in him. Maybe one, maybe even two more. But I do think the Buck is going to stop with them overcoming 0-2 deficits. I think they may have met the team that's going to stop them from being in the Phoenix Suns. And Chris Paul has been dying to show his ass off, and he will get to do in the Western Conference Finals at least. So he'll get the opportunity to do that. I am taking Phoenix 4-2.
I got a question. I got a question for you guys. Real question. Clippers get 2 more games. Do you think they'll last long enough for Kawhi to come back? And if he does come back, does that change the tide in that series?
I'm gonna let Smash this one first before I dive in it.
Kawhi comes back game 4. As of right now, he's out game 3. He may be back for game 4. If he can at least come back from game 4, that gives him a fighting chance to at least win 2. It's gonna be hard with them. They're gonna, to be honest, going into game 4, they're gonna be down 3-0. I don't have the Clippers losing. I don't have the Suns losing game 3.
Hot take. I think the Clippers can get it. And I'm gonna tell you why.
They definitely can.
Only reason why I'm not saying 100% that they will is it depends on how they took that last game. Some teams take those losses as opportunities, for a movement, and some people take it for opportunity for a moment, right? They might have that moment in practice. This might be the move for Paul to be like, look, I'm not gonna have another opportunity like this.
You know,
I'm not gonna get this close to hitting a home run. You know what I'm saying? At this point, he's at the dance with the chick that he had, dreamed about being with his whole high school career. There's the senior prom right now. She's going off to college, and she says, "You know what? I'm trying to have some fun tonight, but I want to hit this blunt before we do anything. You've never done drugs a day before in your life. At this point, you're never going to get this close to the dance again, young man. You pick up that blunt, especially if you're in a state that makes it legal." I'm just saying. At this point,
California,
July 1st, Virginia. I'm just saying. It's all, at the end of the day, it's all about what he takes from that moment. And I believe that he can take from that moment what he needs to make that last go at it. Think about Jimmy Butler when we played the Lakers and we got that one. Look at how exhausted he was. He gave it all out that he couldn't make it to the next one, right? This is the only way that I see that the Clippers do it. Paul George gets his superpowers, becomes All Might. He does his thing. He gives it his all. That drives the team to play a good team game, a solid team game, without Paul George having to give out his last sensu bean, right? And then, they can afford to lose another game. Kawhi is definitely coming back. And now it's a fight. Now it's a game. That's the only way that I see it happening positively for those guys. What y'all think?
I don't think he want to be back.
I don't think he does either. But
no, I don't think he wants to be back, and I think he's going to ride this injury.
He has a player option.
This is correct. That's why he's gone this summer. Where he's going was whoever can afford him.
Now, does that put him in that KD lane?
He's Kawhi's a mercenary.
Like, I'm just like, KD was like that. He was like, OKC cool, but Golden State looks
no, I wouldn't say that. It's like I told Cap, it's a Cinderella Snow White story if you want to compare him to other people. In Kawhi's instance, he already won by himself. He went to Toronto and made the team a winning country in one season. You can say that it wasn't all him, but whose face is associated with their championship? It's not Kyle Lowry. It's not Pascal.
I wish it was Kyle Lowry.
With Hoopers, it is. With the common fan who the NBA should be really catering to, it's going to always be Kawhi Leonard. And it's to the person, I guess, who's not ingrained in Hooper, in it being a Hoopers mentality. So coaches, basketball players, things of that sort, real like Hoopers, they're going to, all right, yeah, definitely he had some help with Siakam coming into his own and Kyle Lowry. But for the most part, if you mention the 2019 Toronto Raptors championship team, 2018-2019 team, it's Kawhi Leonard's team. So, yes, he has done it on his own, but I think Kawhi wants to do it again. He just said, you know what, didn't work out at home and it ain't been working out at the crib. I got this option. I'm going to be courted. He may actually come back to LA, to the Clippers, but I do think he's going to want to be courted.
I'm going to tell you something crazy, man. If KD went somewhere like Portland, he would have been a more respected champion by now, in my opinion.
Well, that goes without saying, but that's the thing is, like, we got to because that's another thing that's everybody's in love with is let's help the small market. But I was watching something and it caught my attention in regards to just that small market loyalty, and it doesn't pay. Dame Lillard is suffering what many before him, Charles Barkley, staying in Phoenix that long. Reggie Miller, never.
To a point, Jason Kidd with the Nets. To a point.
Still. But the thing is, Jason Kidd got there twice, and he just ran up against two teams that would beat anybody. It would be different if the Nets played the Kings instead of the Lakers or the Spurs. We were talking about the New Jersey Nets being the world champions, but nobody was beating the juggernauts of Duncan and Robinson or the early 2000s Lakers. They're just teams we weren't going to beat.
I mean, let's not forget, Jason got his flowers when he went to the Mavs.
Absolutely.
He his flowers when he went to the Mavs.
Absolutely. Yeah, I
But I
mean,
think
sometimes
that
it takes
a lot
15
of-
years.
Very true.
But you know what? I think a
Because it
lot
takes
of
a team.
players, to that point, I think a lot of players would benefit just understanding that they're going to win off the bench. I think if a lot more people like Charles Barkley had that mentality, he would have saw himself on a team where he's not the star, but he's still going to be a champion. I look at Juwan Howard, what he did with Miami. It was Shaq and Alonzo and D Wade and Jason Williams. You know what I'm saying? Gary Payton, didn't he get a ring too? Off of that,
With Miami, with the 06 Miami team.
Yeah, that's what I'm
remember.
saying.
And so it's just
Players like Juwan and GP were at the end. They were at the end. It's
So
a
you don't
different
think-
mindset than when, let's say, Charles Barkley didn't do it at the end, and he did what LeBron's been doing. And I use LeBron because he's the one who's done it the most. But he's like, hey guys, let's team up. We can go get a ring. How many people back then was doing that? Nobody. Niggas was getting.
That's not true. How many people were going to the Lakers? How many people were trying to go to the Bulls? I mean, you know what I'm saying? You had,
That is true. You're right.
my thing is
You're
this:
totally right.
it happened, but it happened a little bit different. It wasn't as open as what it is now. There's no social media.
And what changed the dynamic was the decision. That's it.
But not only that, but my thing is this: it was going to change regardless, because you go from a time where you only heard what players wanted through newspapers and ESPN, and now they have it at their fingertips, and you see players influencing decisions. So if a player as big as LeBron James says, "I'm going here," the fan base automatically changes. There isn't this dedication to teams anymore. It's dedication to players. You know what I'm saying? So in my opinion, when you got that type of dynamic, the sports realm is going to shift either way. And players are going to talk, and those outside conversations are going to work together and come out. My thing is this: you mean to tell me D Wade had no influence on Shaq coming to Miami? Come on now. Pat Riley.
I would say it'd be more so Pat Riley, because we got to look at that particular era.
But what did Pat Riley use? If D Wade wasn't there, it wouldn't have been attractive.
Fair. But here's what we really had to do.
We would have relied on Eddie Jones and Zoe. No.
But that's the thing about it, is that
Don't you do Eddie Jones?
Hey, that's my guy.
We're not gonna have no Eddie Jones slander up in here.
Hey, look, no. Look, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. But let's be honest. All of us respecting Eddie Jones for who he is. Him, Jason Williams, and Alonzo Mourning is not really a sell without D Wade coming off his flash season. Like,
I mean, the thing is, he did that, and they still got eliminated in the first round the year before. But it was because of their grit, and they showed that grit. I think they went 42-40 that year, if I'm not mistaken. It was a good season, and Flash showed us that, hey, he's a real deal. However,
before the nail polish and all of that, guys, he was a real deal.
Let's be honest here, and again, let's put ourselves in Shaq's shoes. Let's take a time travel. This is the year 2004. I hate my current teammate because my coach made me hate my current teammate because of how he structured my team. I hate my current teammate. So the sell that you're talking about was Pat Riley, who I trust, who's a legend, can guarantee me that we're going to probably contend sometime soon based on our last year's result. And you told me you about to give me a bunch of money to live in Miami and play there half a year and be out there with the most beautiful women. Have you guys been to Miami? I'm sure you both have been to Miami. I'm sure you both have been to Miami.
Yes, I've been to Miami.
I've had a hell of a time.
Shout out to Barrita, some great tacos. That's all I'll say.
Shout out to Wet Willies. They've had me slumped on a number of occasions, but that's neither here or there. You asked 7'1", 308 pounds Shaquille O'Neal, who is known also be a womanizer.
Still, Kazam.
To live in Miami for half the year. And we're not going to have any Kazam slander either. I'm not having none of that.
We won't.
I'll walk off the set if we're slandering Kazam. I'll walk off. But that's the sell. But yes, here's the thing with that. I think what's happening now, because yes, we have that situation where Shaq got another one, I believe it was 9th season when he went to Miami, and then Zoe finally got one. It's a beautiful thing. Gary Payton got one. It's a beautiful thing. White Chocolate got one. It's a beautiful thing. Jason Kidd got one in 2011 after 15 years. It's what Rick Ross was saying. At the end of the day, if it takes time, it takes time as long as I'm moving correctly. We're not doing that now in 2020, 2021. We're instant gratification. We need it now. And so that's what the issue is here. Damian Lillard is going to pay for his loyalty. If he continues to stay loyal to Portland and not go somewhere else, like he should honestly be in Miami. I think Jimmy and Dame will go 82-0 if they had the opportunity. And I'm being dead serious on about it because of their mindset. I think that he needs to go somewhere where he's in a better market and they can do more for him. That's just me personally.
I agree. No, I agree with you on that. I believe that loyalty does kill. On the flip side of that, look at what our loyalty to Tyler Hero got us. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that I don't appreciate him being there, but if we would have,
are you really loyal to him? Are you loyal to him?
My thing is this: we were at one point. I think the loyalties have shifted based on what he's done this year. Because if we could have got James Harden,
that would forever be that stain in Miami, I guess, because
unless we get
Kawhi. What did Houston want other than Tyler Hero that was so off limits? I guess
it was him. I want to say Daniel Jones. Not Daniel Jones. Jesus.
I know Duncan Robinson was.
Duncan Robinson is what I meant to say him, and I said Daniel Jones by accident.
One white guy. They all look alike.
They both throw the same. Duncan Robinson,
only
Tyler
successful
Hero.
when they throw from deep because you can't. Duncan Robinson can't shoot.
And they wanted Kendrick Nunn.
I pulled the trigger. I pulled the trigger. If I'm giving all of that up in just one first, I'm pulling the trigger. Maybe two first, but I'm pulling the trigger.
And see, I don't know what all we would have got for it, but the only reason I can see them doing, they said Tyler Hero, but my thing is this, for a couple reasons. I don't know how long they feel we can invest in the Goran Dragic staying there. Mm-hmm. So Kendrick Nunn is naturally the next one up. I don't think that we wanted to repeat the Josh Richardson mistake. I think that was a mistake in my opinion. I believe that, Duncan Robinson, I believe that they're trying to make a Klay Thompson out of him, which I can see, but he's not Klay. He's a spot up shooter, a great one at that. I think his relationship with our 3-point shooter, but at the end of the day with Tyler Hero, they just expected him to have that bubble ball mentality, which I think that now that we've got a year of actual season basketball, we can kind of assess it a little bit better, and we can rightfully move away from him knowing what we can get back.
Duncan Robinson is no more than a taller Rex Chapman. So at the end of the day,
I would have said
Steve Novak.
I was gonna say my man Doug McDermott.
Either one of them, to be honest.
You said you don't move either one of them? For James Harden? You're not gonna move either one of them?
He's not leaving the Nets.
You said what now?
He's not gonna leave the Nets. They're not gonna.
No, I'm talking about when they had the opportunity, when Houston was making the call. And here's the thing about Pat Riley, he's so steadfast. Houston was making the call. If I'm just going to give up Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero and maybe my 2021 and 2022, or 2021, 2023, because you can't give up consecutive years, I got to pull the trigger. Because I'm probably going to get somebody else from Houston to go along with James Harden. Probably end up getting like somebody like Daniel House or something. And, try to – Pat's not going to go into this fully leaving like without getting the bag for real. Pat's fleeced everybody known to man since he's been in Miami. So I know he was going to get more than just James Harden. I
agree with you. I agree with you, but like I said, I think that at this point, now that we know what we got, I think this is the year, this offseason, that we get a real 5. Because I think we have an opportunity there. We get a real 5. I think
that's what everybody's looking for now.
I think we're getting a real 5, and then I think that we're gonna pick up a bet. I think we're gonna pick up another playmaker, either with Damian Lillard or Kawhi Leonard, and it's gonna be some furniture moving in Miami. I'm gonna tell you that shit.
All right, now that the draft is over, season's done. We're talking about the Warriors. We're talking about the now and the future. Was taking Wiseman over Ball the correct choice?
Yes. I will agree with that choice of taking Jacob Wiseman 100 times. Only because you need a 5. They don't have a 5. And it's been their Achilles heel in keeping them away from being the dynasty that won 5 straight. Andrew Bogut wasn't going to get it done. And all you did after Andrew Bogut was plug and play. And Jacob Wiseman, James Wiseman, will be excellent as time goes on.
Okay.
I don't think LaMelo Ball and Steph Curry would have meshed well because they both need the ball. At the end of the day, I do think Steph should have moved to 2 and moved Klay to 3 when Klay comes back, personally. And I think Draymond should be their primary ball handler, if anything. Or if you can go get somebody else back.
Ben Simmons.
But here's the thing, and I'm hearing through the grapevine that is very real.
That was actually my next question.
That trade is very real.
That's why I laugh, because most people, want him out of Philly, but once I feel like if he's in a system like Golden State where he doesn't have to take those shots.
That's the thing. It's like to make Ben Simmons successful, you have to surround him around 4 shooters. And you're only gonna get 3 at this point because Wiseman's not that. So
because Golden State they now have first round draft picks, you can actually give them Wiggins.
Oh, he's out of it.
Wiggins he's not out, but he can be moved. I'll say that.
Oubre or Wiggins won't be on this team come the fall when they
I would actually move both of them, plus one of those first round picks for Ben Simmons.
It would be intelligent to do that, but I think if anything, because that would be the smart thing to do for Philly is to take Oubre and Wiggins, and then probably like buy out Wiggins or something like that and send him somewhere else. He just needs to go somewhere where his career can truly revive, and he's needed at this point. He's not a fit in Golden State.
OKC.
That's almost seeming like the graveyard, though. Really, when they're sent the way they're sending people.
I'm thinking if we're looking at it like Chris Paul and Melo got better after he left OKC.
Right.
Chris Paul left OKC and was like.
And it was a complete drop-off but he also made SGA better. And so I think that's where it's going to be a little bit tough is like, I don't think SGA can learn from Kemba. No, so I honestly see them buying him out or at least letting him play enough till his contract comes to an end. But I think that would be the best thing is either trade Draymond and Oubre to Philly for Ben Simmons. And that way you get a comparable defensive player back, and you just have to end that experiment.
Does Draymond and Embiid work together?
No, they're gonna probably punch each other in the face first training camp.
I don't see that happening. Yeah, I'm about to say I don't see that happening. Let me ask you this: do you think that Klay even stays in Golden State?
Absolutely. I don't see him.
My thing is this: how much have you paid him in the last 2 seasons, and how much has he produced? At the end of the day,
$33 million each year, if I'm not mistaken.
My thing is this: loyalty is one thing, but at the end of the day, it's a business. And if I'm paying for a product that I'm not seeing a return on, at this point, I could be paying another product to do that same thing with a guarantee who doesn't have the injury history. And would you rather get rid of him now while the market is hot? People remember him for what he was and what his potential is, or do you do like Philadelphia's doing with Zach Ertz and wait until his potential is they realize that potential is gone, and now you're trying to get rid of him at half the value?
So let me ask this thing here: are you saying that you don't think he's going to recover from his Achilles?
I don't think that anybody ever comes back 100% from an injury the first time, let alone if it happens twice. I think at this point he's not going to be the same athlete. Shout out to my man Matthew Ellis out there for the comments. Lakers trade scenario, Kuz KCP for SGA.
And that's a brother I do think that will probably be on the move within the next 1 or 2 years. By the way, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, for people wanting to know why we're calling him SGA, but I think SGA is going to be on the move. I think he learned enough from Chris Paul to be like, all right, you know what, I can run this ship somewhere else. But OKC, like I said, they're the graveyard because they're like hoarding all picks to create something big. And I do kind of respect how they're doing it. Ultimately, they're getting all these draft picks. But I think I don't want to sell Clay short, man. I think 2021 to 2022 could be that renaissance that he may not be like do like dunks and stuff like that, but I really think for the spot up shooting aspect, I think he'll be okay if he doesn't get hurt again. Obviously.
He's gonna be my man Omar Epps in Love and Basketball when he came back from that injury. That's what he's gonna be. He's been out there fooling with you.
This piece.
He'd have been in the training room fooling with Choose Boy, getting his ankles back. And he about to go out there and try to shoot around. He's not gonna be the same. I think
not Choose
Boy. I don't have my sound effects, damn it. I want them. But yeah, you know I had to bring it in at least once.
Hey, it's a running gag. It's a running gag, and it will continue. So I don't blame you. But I think I can't sell Clay short just yet. But you very well could be right. I just can't sell him short yet.
Yeah, I can't either.
But I don't think I'm selling him short. I think by saying that he has value still is very much complimentary to his situation. How many players do you know go through this type of injury and have rigorous rehab twice and maintain their value? A car that gets in 2 accidents is not going to have the same value as a car that has never had an accident. And this car we're talking about here with Clay was what? Maybe 10 miles per hour from being totaled twice. And we're talking about taking a cross-country road trip with regular gas, not the hot shit, not the 97. Talking about the 87 octane, the lawnmower gas. And we expect this motherfucker to drive smooth with no issues. You on mute, Shad? You on mute? Hold on. Is that you or me?
No, I'm saying at the end of the day, Golden State did give him $190 million, so they're gonna have to find some way to get a return on that investment.
Oh yeah,
that's the point. That's the point. They got to get a return on the investment. It has the investment created a return that's been worth the cost at this point. But I don't feel like it has. And no disrespect to Clay, just circumstance.
You got to remember, like Shad just said, Golden State has invested so much into him. They're gonna get they don't give it unless he's freakishly injured next year. They are going to try. I ain't even gonna say try. They're gonna put his ass on the court. If he can be back next year, he's on the court.
Smash it. So let me ask you this. And we're talking about investments, right? You go on the Wall Street, you got an investment, you're holding out for this stock. At what point do you hold on to this investment before you sell it and count your losses? Because there's such thing as losing money. Do you wait until you've lost your full investment and now you're getting back less than what you spent, or do you pull out before it gets below that point? When's your no? I don't have a pause button, but when is your pull out point? That's the question.
It's a fair question. It's a fair question.
No, it definitely is, and I feel like this season is going to be it. I agree with you. If it doesn't pan out this season coming up, if he gets injured again, if he's not able to even come back, at that point they have to look at either buying him out and letting him, or who's going to take that risk for the trade, because there's going to be somebody that's going to take that risk.
Anybody that needs a spot up shooter.
Right.
I believe that's where I'm at. I think anybody that needs a spot up shooter is going to take the bait. But the only reason why I say I feel like you cut your losses now, because why even risk? It's like this. You can get rid of him now at his current value, which they know he's injured, but they also know his potential. Or you go out there and let him play. He doesn't play at the same level, and now you have to bargain with his new buying price.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying?
But even realistically, he got to know his price is dropping. He even knows that. Like, just being realistic, your production that you had pre-injury Now you've missed 2 seasons now. 1.5, 2 seasons. And let's say you don't come back next year. That's 2.5 seasons. Now you got to realize where I was before injury and where I am now isn't the same. That might be his last big contract unless he can show something.
It
You
is.
can't go. I'm the type of person. What can you do for me now? Not what you did for me before.
I think that's what the contract was there for. Because mind you, they did give him this contract 3 weeks after he tore his Achilles.
They did.
And so, and because he had to resign, and it was like, okay, you know what? There's a very good chance he's going to miss 2019, 2020. Very good chance. He did. And so then preseason comes, he misses this year. It's then what Josh says, like, oh, you know what? We might need to think about our future at this point, but his money that he got is all for loyalty. I just don't know who's going to want to pick him up with I don't think he could go anywhere else but Golden State. And that's just wrong.
See, that's something that I don't say. That's something that I don't necessarily believe because the league is always changing. I just feel like when it comes to him, it also puts the team in a position of, okay, now it's time to sign other players who have been productive and they have to make room. They now have to make money. You know what I'm saying? The one thing about sports is that you can have a dream team, but a dream team's life expectancy is at most 3 years because at the end of the day, you're going to have to pay people. And you can't pay a team full of superstars, a team full of all-stars. That's why you got trades, free agencies, all these other acquisitions, and you've got people who do the numbers because they can tell you what moving pieces can go where. I don't see them getting rid of Steph. I believe Steph ends his career in Golden State.
Definitely.
I would say the same thing about Clay, but you said what?
He shouldn't, but I mean that it would have to go along that line of, all right, Steph is that person like a Kobe. I played here my whole life. I'm gonna stay here. Tim Duncan.
I'm gonna tell you why he's different.
It would behoove him to go anywhere else.
No. Only because of his dad. His final season is actually going to be in Charlotte.
Yeah, it should be. It should be in Charlotte.
It should be in Charlotte
or Toronto, one of the two. But it should be one of those two places. But I tell you right now, who could use Klay Thompson? Milwaukee, because I would have had Pat Connaughton take that shot. But I will say that, Klay would have definitely at least hit that shot, and they would be up right now.
Shit, he might have been good on the Nets. I'm saying,
let's be real. Klay. The thing about that though is, I would see Golden State would buy Klay out. I honestly think they would, just because of his loyalty and what he brought him 3 titles. I think I would see them buying him out, saying, you know what, we did right by you. How can you fare on the buyout market now that you don't have nobody has to pay you $30-some-odd million, and then you can go somewhere else. If he is
he's back with KD. Look at how that works.
But how do you think he can fare with somebody like Kyrie?
And I think he'll be fine because he's not going to be a star anymore. He's going to be, at best, he's going to be a role player. And not like the role player he is in Golden State. They're going to have to find a way to put him in the system, but I think that they're going to lose one of their superstars to get Klay because his name by itself and his record and his production, he's not going to go at too much of a clearance. It's going to be like a 25% off. It ain't going to be no 75% off clearance when it comes to Klay. I think
he should. If I were him, I would say, hey, buy me out. If you have designs on me being elsewhere, buy me out so I can be with a contender. You owe me that much. I bought you. It's not like Drummond or anybody who don't have equity with that team and then gets bought out or something like that. Hey, I got equity with this team. You got 3 banners in this rafters because of me and Klay. You've made millions of dollars marketing us as the Splash Brothers. Buy me out. If you're gonna get rid of me, buy me out and send me somewhere. Send me to LA, my home, my actual real home, and then I can go ahead and do right.
I think he would do great with the Lakers, in my opinion.
And his dad played for them too. It would just be a continuing legacy type of situation.
Like LeBron can't use that help keys. Don't make those faces.
Oh, that's a
hey. It's 5 seconds left. 114, 113. Atlanta's up.
And Trae Young's at the line here.
Looks like a beautiful bet on my end.
And they steal another game one. That's 3 series in a row. I'm sick of it.
Hey, I put money on Milwaukee. I knew what I was doing this morning. You missed the story. I woke up to $100 not touched in my FanDuel sports book. So I invested in Milwaukee's demise, and I put my money on them. Because everybody I put my money on, it has went south.
And you had odds, though, because Milwaukee was favored this morning. Am I correct?
They sure were, but my winnings weren't going to be much. It's okay. I put Milwaukee down. I put down Milwaukee to win the series, and then turned around and put more money on Atlanta. So it doesn't matter. I win either way.
On just this game or the series for the Atlanta part?
Series.
What'd you put down on this game?
Look, man, we're not talking about that, okay? Not talking about that.
Okay, fair. Here's the thing about this. I have a concern in regards to Milwaukee. They've come off this high, beating the Nets in 7. Is the season a failure if they can't get past the Hawks somehow?
Yes. That was unanimous, but yes. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back, fellas. Y'all can go ahead. I'll be right back.
Go ahead. Once you get past the Nets, you're supposed to be a shoo-in for the championship.
A lot of people had them sweeping Atlanta, but I tell you, just coming from watching all 5 of the games with the Knicks, Atlanta showed me something that they didn't show me in the regular season, and that is that they're not going anywhere, and no one's asked them to. And they're not going anywhere. They're here to stay. They're here to fight with your best. And it's now official that they have stolen their 3rd consecutive game 1 on the road. On the road.
That's tough.
Atlanta's for real.
That's tough.
Atlanta's for real here. And
I'm not gonna lie, though. I would, just because of the NBA and the parity, having a Suns versus Hawks finals, there's some for those fans.
The 8 is gonna be tough.
There's some nostalgia. Think about when Dominique was there, when Charles was out in Philly. I mean, not Philly, out in Phoenix. When they had Rex Chapman, when they had
Dan Marley,
Kevin
Johnson,
old Suns. We ain't talking about the Steve Nash Suns.
Yeah.
I'm talking about old school Suns and the old school Hawks.
Yeah.
It's that nostalgia for that finals. That'll be crazy.
All of that. Anybody still alive? Tom Chambers. I believe he had passed. If I'm not mistaken, but I know everybody involved with that particular organization. Frank Johnson, all of them.
What's the little midget they played for the Hawks?
You talking about Spud Webb?
Spud. The nostalgia. I got the jersey in the crib, and I don't. It's crazy. Anyway,
Dikembe will be out there.
What?
It's Steve Smith. But the aid itself, honestly, and just Atlanta would need something like this. I have a team competing again for another world championship when we thought that the Falcons had closed that door.
28-3.
We got this kid that virtually everybody said was probably going to be a bust because all he can do is shoot. And now he is the anchor of our possible Eastern Conference Championship team.
They said the same thing about Steph when he came out.
Literally the same thing. So
nope, everybody counted Steph out. And then he got hurt. He got hurt. And then came
his bad knee.
Amazing.
So, but Albie Shore is out here busting people's ass damn near every other night and going to the studio to record his album. But
he called that man Albie Shore, man.
Christopher Williams, Albie Shore, don't wake me, I'm dreaming. He is out here, down the barge face, is killing everybody on a nightly basis.
While y'all joking, when you talking about NBA players doing music, I'm sorry. Lil Will got a new single out with my man Lil Wayne.
I bet you it's
not Lemon Pepper.
Hey, Lil Will can rap, bro.
Lemon Pepper.
Lil Will got some bars, bro. I ain't even being funny.
And let's keep it real with Lil Will here on the Hawks. He was a good addition, and people didn't think that he was going to pan out. Lil Will said
he was what they.
The song is called Big Tuh.
I'm about to listen to it in a minute. As soon as we done.
Hold on, let me get Alexa.
It's only 2 NBA players I don't listen to their music. It's Lou Will and Dame Lillard. Them the only 2.
Also, in case y'all were unaware, like and subscribe.
True.
I'm gonna just say this while y'all at it. Like and subscribe. Also, your boy Prophet the Problem got a new single out right now. OnlyFans. Go ahead and check that joint out. Streaming everywhere, man. We got a joint EP coming out. Me and Big Matt may have saw him in the previous episode. That's my dog. Got it coming out, man. Called Rural 2. It's gonna be dropping in July.
I'm gonna be on the remix for that joint.
We trying to get 5,000 streams on that joint, man. Go look at it, listen to it, do your thing, man. Support the crew, support Cloth Talk, do what we do. Back at y'all.
I'm somewhere in the video doing the Diddy dance.
I'm gonna be on the remix. I'm just trying to put my verse together.
Dropping soon, the Shad P mix. You know what I'm saying? Cloth Talk mixtape coming soon.
It's gonna be disgusting. I'm telling y'all that right now. It's gonna be disgusting.
So but, it's official that Atlanta takes game 1. Did y'all announce that?
3 consecutive game 1s on the road. And that says something. That's saying a lot. Don't get me wrong. I do want to stop the chatter about Nick McMillan should have won Coach of the Year. He was not coach all year. Tom Thibodeau did earn that trophy. So we stop all that noise.
Hey,
my man Tibbs, Mr. Tibbs.
My Yankees also just won.
They call him Mr.
Tibbs. Hold on. They call him Mr. Tibbs. Hold on, teams. No, hold on. I wish you didn't say anything about the Yankees. I'm about to go in because they just finished going 5-1, and the way they lost yesterday was disgraceful. I don't know who these New York Yankees are.
But you know, baseball is one of them things where they can lose yesterday, win today. So it's like, I really don't pay attention to baseball until the playoffs.
I mean, I can.
Like that August to right in October when the playoffs start. The way I look at the Yankees, as long as we make the playoffs,
I want them to show up.
Season. Yeah.
I want them to show up, and if they can show up in the playoffs, I mean that's the thing about it. I try not to, as a fan. That's the one thing that I hate about following a team so long is that early success or failure can bother you. Just like you guys have been fans of the Eagles, I'm sure, over 20 years now, or the teams that you follow over 20 years. That I know people that get pissed off at Giants games in the preseason. I can't do that yet, but I know people that do that and like, man, we lost 30-10 in a preseason game. Does it count?
You know what? I'm gonna speak to that because I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people that do get serious about my preseason games, and I'll tell you why.
I can't do the first one.
Yeah, I can't.
No, I'm gonna tell you why. It upsets me because it sets the tone on how people performed in the off season. I could told you last year when I watched the preseason that we were gonna suck like we did, only off of the simple fact that we looked like we were out of sorts. The year we won the Super Bowl, I said, bro, we got the best defense in the league. Preseason game number 2. I wish we were all recording so I could have got that shit on camera. And it's all because you can look at the pieces and how they move. You don't got to know the scheme. You just need to know the position. If everybody's pulling on the line when they're supposed to pull, if everybody's making moves, it doesn't matter if you're a starter or not. If everybody's on the same page, it'll come. You'll be good.
How many times have the Patriots looked like, let's be honest, how many times have the Pats looked good in preseason and won the championship?
But also, you got to think of the Detroit and Oakland when they were bad. Well, not when they're bad, they're still bad, but they typically might go 4-0. And then September comes for real. And they really got to hit them up. And then they're losing. They're going 4-12. So I can agree with you that, yes, the preseason sets that tone and that barometer, but it might not work for everybody.
Well, see, the reason why I can answer that as well. Teams don't show their playbook in preseason. These are
very vanilla
throwaways. These are throwaways. The only thing that they're doing is finding out who the fuck can do their job.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. I don't need to give you a playbook if you're not going to be here because you might go to somebody else's team and tell them what we're doing. All I need to do is find out. All I need to do is find out if you can do your damn job. Are you going to block for the running back when I tell you to block for the running back? If I give you some bullshit where you make it look like gold, If you can do that, you belong here. If you can make us look like we're running NFL Game 1 Season Matters plays, and I'm giving you bullshit, when I give you the shit, it's gonna look great. Because now we're gonna practice it. Now we're gonna instill it. But you got that foundation. That's what the preseason is for.
But do you believe that all 32 teams are vanilla in the preseason? All 32. Do you not believe that somebody takes it like you're saying, like as serious as you're saying? There's not some team that says, you know what, we got something to prove out here. We got to do something.
In week 3, yes. In this case, it'll be week 2 because they cut the preseason down a week.
Mm-hmm.
Week 1 and week 2, everybody's vanilla. Everybody's vanilla. You don't start doing real shit until you got, you know what I'm saying? Until you know who you got.
Unless you're a rookie quarterback.
You gotta remember.
I put it this way. I'll give you this example, and I'm gonna let you go, Smashes. I promise. But here's my example, though. We didn't see the band in the studio until Diddy got down to those 5 motherfuckers. We had to watch them do push-ups, do all types of dumb shit, and then when he got it down to that 5, then we started talking about the studio. Then we started talking about them rapping. Then we started talking about them singing. Then they went to Junior's for the cheesecake. He didn't make all 40,000 motherfuckers go to Junior's for some goddamn cheesecake. That's like half of a Million Man March. Not, just to be facetious.
It really
I'm
is.
just saying.
It really is.
But you're not going to get that until you got the core members. And I apply that to football. You start with like 75 people. It gets cut down to like a 53-man roster.
90 to be exact. So,
but yeah, but you're going to have people going a little bit everywhere, every which way. And as a result of that, you're not going to let, them people go out there with that knowledge so they can try to go out here and besmirch your name like a who's the dumbass that was on our squad that we let go, that was he comments all the time on Undisputed.
Come on, Skandrick.
Yeah.
He lost his wife.
My man Scabs. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody want nobody like that in their locker room, making things toxic. You know what I'm saying? So to me, the preseason plays its role. I think it's undervalued and underutilized because I feel like a lot of people use it for spectacle shit, just so that they can get people out there. They don't really go out there and evaluate their talent, which is something I feel like should be done from OTAs and spring training.
I think that's where I kind of got like with Johnny Manziel. That's how he was not going to be good when he played the Skins. And he couldn't get passes off with the Skin. Second team and third team. And I said that's a problem. This is gonna be a problem. He's not gonna be good.
But you see how you could tell. And I see Smashes over there making faces, man. He seems like a man.
Who knows that Manziel was gonna be a ball?
You was a money Manziel man? I didn't believe it.
Don't get me wrong. If he went somewhere else, he was drafted higher. Yes, he was just not going to be good in Cleveland.
If Dallas would have took him, he would have been better than what he was. Absolutely, because they would have found a way. I truly believe that.
That offensive line, Manziel's problem is the problem most Cleveland people had for some time, that he had to run for his life, other than on Joe Thomas's side.
It wasn't until it's crazy that it wasn't until Joe Thomas left that the Browns decided to get serious, and that's what killed me. I don't know if it was because of the money or what it was, because before him the only good Brown was Peyton Hillis.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was
short-lived.
He was
very short-lived. I put it this way: Baker Mayfield did make a believer out of me, Keys. I'll concede that.
I like Baker.
I know you did. No, I know you did. But you knew that I didn't like Baker for a lot of reasons. And he finally gave me a reason to say, okay, I'll stop talking.
But I knew with that, when you see certain people, Dwayne Haskins, I saw him in preseason. I said, this kid might not be it. He just might not be it. And
I told y'all, I think Dwayne Haskins sitting behind Ben and learning from Ben, because Ben is that the same type of player. I think either
they both like to party.
The Steelers. That's true. Either with the Steelers or leaving the Steelers, he's going to be a better player just learning from Ben. So I think that's a good situation for him.
I agree. I think though with the preseason being 3 games is one. It's not no effing around. Coming this August, it's going to be some serious business. It's not going to be any effing around. And that second dress rehearsal, that second game, which is considered the dress rehearsal week before the regular season, I think it's going to be you're going to see some good things out there. I do agree that for all 3 weeks they're probably going to be all vanilla, but I do think I think Justin Fields being out there, he's going to probably play all 3 games. I keep forgetting who are the other people that got drafted as far as high draft picks, but that's where you're going to see people have that full on hardcore game plan. But as a fan, like I said, I can't take preseason that serious because it doesn't count and it doesn't mean much. It's really a depth situation.
But that's preseason is for fans of the teams. It's not for records. It's for you to know and get to know your players.
And trust me, when it comes around, I watch the first 10 minutes. Like, damn, I'm glad football.
Oh no, I watched the whole thing.
I'm gonna be honest,
people get injured too much in football now because they didn't change the rules around.
I just need one preseason game and then we can get into the season.
That's why they took away the 4th one. But to me, I put it this way, right? And this is where I'll say the preseason is good at. There's 2 words that I'll say that are going to change Dwayne Haskins' career. Mike Tomlin. That's it. That's all you got to. That's it. Yeah, but definitely. You're not going to see that in the regular season. You're going to only see that in the preseason.
You said Mike Tomlin is going to change his career?
Yep.
Well, I agree with you. I just want to make sure this one hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I feel like when it comes down to it, you're only going to be able to see that in preseason. Because the Steelers...
he's not going to, unless Ben gets hurt, which could happen. But
it could happen.
You're not going to see it during the season.
You're not. And the other thing you're not going to see is his chemistry with those other players.
Because
and then let's say it like this, right?
He's going to be amazing in practice. He is. He's going to show them a lot. Just like Jameis.
Man, let me tell you something. In football, there's always something.
There was a reason New Orleans brought him back. It's because it's what they saw in practice, not just the game when he did get in, but it was practice. Day to day, what they saw from, Sean Payton saw from early morning to late night, the playbook, the huddles, how he controlled the offense. And I've heard Sean Payton say all of this about Jameis Winston, and I feel like it's going to be the same thing with Dwayne Haskins with Pittsburgh.
Well, see, my thing is this, right? With football, there's something called practice heroes. You always got your people who show out in practice because it's scripted. You know what I'm saying? It's the live game situations that make shit crazy, right? I'm not saying that, all people who are good in practice ain't, trash. I'm not making that correlation. But my thing is this. The year that Sam Bradford got traded away from Philly, in the preseason, everybody knew that they wanted to see Carson Wentz just based on how he went out there in the preseason and threw that rock. It wasn't a regular season game that we had, a regular season situation we had when we saw how Carson Wentz was able to maneuver the offense. And it was a night and day situation. And based on that, we traded Sam Bradford and got our money back.
As we should have.
I'm not saying, but catch me on this though. This is what I'm saying. Only people who were watching, the same way that people who watch college football can tell us what's about to happen in the NFL, is the same way people who watch the preseason can tell you that a Jacoby Brissett is a quarterback that's worth being a starter on the right team. That
you get in college. That's the thing,
right? It's all about where you see it at, and some of these players you're only going to see in the preseason. And it's based on not just the starting personnel, but look at, I keep bringing it to Philly because I'm an Eagles fan. Howie Roseman decided who touched the field, not the coach. And some of these players you only saw in the preseason. Elijah, what was his name? Is it
but it's always like that though. I'm gonna tell you why. It's because it's the preseason. The preseason doesn't. Now your stars and your starters. It's like with preseason, it's like, all right, we want you to get your feet wet, get back in game motion. But that's why they don't play game 3, game 4. You don't see them as much. You start seeing the third string, the fourth string players. You want to see how much depth, like Sean said, you want to see how much depth the team has going into the season.
That's all I take it as.
Yeah, it's not really. It has nothing to do with your starters, your stars. It's almost like the NBA in preseason. You'll see LeBron play preseason just to get his.
I'm not watching for the stars in preseason. For me, I'm watching personnel. When I say personnel, I'm not just talking about players. Defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator. How much are y'all changing? How much are y'all keeping? Is the scheme?
But the NBA preseason and the NFL preseason, like, and even Major League Baseball preseason is different because with the NBA, I think they have maybe like 4 games, probably or so, 4 or 5. But the stars are playing. They're starting the game. LeBron started all, I think, but 1 preseason game. And that's because you wanted to go ahead and get your feet wet. Me personally, I don't think the NBA needs an exhibition unless it's like one of them overseas tournaments like the Bulls played and stuff like that. Like, hey, we want to put the world's best against the world's best and like put the current champion to test and see what they have.
I ain't
or just
gonna lie.
something like that.
The way the Bulls used to do that, the way they used to go on tour,
Right.
that shit needs to happen with a couple NBA teams. Like some of those
I agree.
lower teams. Then
Like the Kings need to go play in Spain or something and see what it's like, and really they need to be playing ball. But that's
the lower teams overseas playing Canada, playing Mexico, playing Puerto Rico. Like,
you want the Kings to go play in Drake's league? That's what you're saying? That you want to go out there and play some OVO ball?
The Crew League is fire.
Hey.
Don't do that. I actually watch every week. The Crew League is amazing. I watched all of season 1, and I am on season 2. I like the Crew League.
Here's my thing,
and
it's just
I don't. Man, Mook playing on Chris Brown's team. You know, shout out to the home team.
They could benefit from that. You don't think they'll benefit from that?
Yeah, I think they would.
This is like the Kings now. I'm not saying the Lakers need to go and do that. The Kings, maybe the Thunder. Go play overseas, do an overseas tournament real quick. Let's see why y'all are sorry. Y'all need to be basketball need to be on your mind. Y'all need to be playing against some people that's trying to get to the league.
They need to go play J. Cole and them.
Hey, play in the Rwandan league and see if they don't get dusted. Them boys will beat the Kings by 30 points. Man.
Hey, but I mean, that's real though. I mean, I feel like
he'll single double them all the way to the house.
triple singles. But I think that would be good for the league.
Yeah,
I think they should bring those tours back like Smasher said.
When you're not being tested during the season, you got to think teams like the Kings, they know they suck. So when they're already like 2-30, they're like, fuck it, I don't care. When you got Detroit that's like 4-26, they're like, fuck it, send their ass overseas to get dogged.
And look what it did for the Bulls. The Bulls went and played a meaningless tournament in Paris and killed everybody over there, and then let that be the precursor for the last dance as far as then dominating damn near everything in the rest of the regular season and championship.
Shout out to all the PSGs that we got from that tournament because I have every pair.
I knew he was going to bring it back to shoes in some fashion. I knew he was going to do it. I knew it. You couldn't help yourself. You could not help you. Just like Prophet with Choose Boy. You couldn't help yourself. You couldn't.
Whoa! Hey!
Boy.
All I'm saying is, they didn't know Collard Green couldn't fly.
I think that would be dope, man. Just bring.
No, that would be.
Bring some kind of excitement. I know they've been trying to test the waters with the mid-season tournament. Nobody will see that shit. Just go ahead and let's get us like an early tournament, just like how Summer League has when Lonzo and them won it, and everybody was hyped when they won the Summer League championship, stuff like that. That's cool.
I'm gonna be real with you. I think that off season, they need to just make that shit like a bubble, like a basketball camp, like they did before.
Yes, sir.
If they did. I'm just saying, if you just go ahead and bring back the bubble, but that just be like a summer thing for the niggas who really want a ball.
That's what I'm saying. Do you invite all 30 teams?
Absolutely.
The other two topics I can kind of. I do this one because you guys are talking about that. It gauges a question I was having earlier with somebody. All of this stuff, I be having these talks with other people. But we were talking about Duke and UNC and the new coaches. We were talking about Hubie and what is his name? I'm a Duke fan. I can't remember the boy name. But anyway, what we were saying was, of course, Coach.
Come on, John Shire.
Yeah, John Shire.
Mhm.
Of course, Coach K and
Roy Williams.
Roy Williams. They handpick their successors. So you know it's not just going to be anybody. The trouble that's
not always a good thing.
Not always, but the trouble that they're both going to have, and this is just any coach, not just them two, but we were talking about them specifically, is you have now that they have to go to college 1 year rule is gone. You got college coaches now are competing with the G League. They're not even competing with the NBA.
I see that too, yeah.
They're competing with the G League. It's either you're all right, where you Shy, you have a son, so your son is a senior. He's got every major college looking at him. But on the other side, he's got the G League in his ear like, hey, you can come here and we can teach you how to, we can further that dog that you got in you.
Right. Because
would you rather him go to college or would you rather him just go ahead and go to the G League?
That's a good question. I'll answer that twofold though. Me personally, because what college ended up doing for me, even though unfortunately, yes, I have not gotten a chance to utilize my broadcast journalism degree the way I wanted to, the experience of being there at least even 1 year, if he's as good as I believe he is to get in the G League, I wouldn't take the experience of college away from nobody. It's dope. It's awesome. I recommend it to everybody. However, in the same token, you are asking me to tell my son to turn down $500,000 guaranteed, but he has to live in a small market town. The G League plays almost every day, that kind of thing. So that's the thing is he's got to adjust to turning into an adult real fast. He's going to be an adult real fast, but I got to risk him being in Fort Wayne for the next year. And shout out to anybody from Fort Wayne, Indiana, by the way. But I have to risk him being in Fort Wayne, Indiana, where I can probably
what are they? The Fort Wayne Ants?
Yeah, Fort Wayne Fire Ants, Mad Fire Ants.
Hey,
so,
and I only know that because of 2K.
2K,
absolutely. 2K is the only ones who put them on the map.
and that's the thing is you have to think about the thought process. Like Cade Cunningham made the right choice. He went to a big school, not a big basketball school, but a big school nonetheless, because their football exposure brings basketball exposure. In I believe it's Oklahoma State, if I'm not mistaken, and he's about to have to spend at least 3 years in Detroit. I feel bad for him for that. I don't wish spending 3 years in Detroit on anybody.
You think Cade Cunningham is going number one?
Without question, who's better than Cade Cunningham?
I think Jalen Green is going number one.
There's nobody there. There's that time. There's like Trevor Lawrence. There's that person you cannot pick over Cade Cunningham, and I think Cade Cunningham is going to be that person this year because the draft is not that good this year. Go ahead and say
I think after him and Jalen Green, it kind of
because it's not like last year where who went number one? Anthony Edwards went number one. And you knew that Wiseman and LaMelo were following, and it could have been.
You knew where the top 3 picks were gonna go. It could have.
This year, when you look at it, it's hard for me not to pick Cade Cunningham with what Detroit already has, and how he will complete that.
Who has the number 2 pick?
The number 2. I thought it was Cleveland, if I'm not mistaken, and there's another shot. Cleveland's back in the lottery. They make me sick. But I will say that it's going to be hard to pick anybody other than Cade Cunningham. But he has to, like I said, he has to go to a town or a team that I don't know is going to be a perfect fit for him. But they're going to pick him because he's the best available. But though you got to also look at whatever your son's financial situation is, and you also are a father of a son. And you have to think about it this way: if you and your family are doing well off, are you going to tell them to go to the G League?
Houston has the number 2 pick.
They might get Cade Cunningham. Then that would be the only other thing I can think of. But you got to think about it here. I think when asking that question, it's based on whatever that economic situation is at the time. If my son can better my family,
like my money and his money are different, right? Of course, I want
fair.
I want some of his money, but I feel like depending on if my son is like you just said, if he's that good that he's got all these top schools, but he also has that G League opportunity, I want him to go get that experience. Like, and I agree with you with college. Like, I'm glad I went to college.
Yes.
But I also know college was a waste of time at the same time for me.
Fair.
The people I met, the parties I went to, the girls, blah, blah, all of that was great. But on the flip side, if I had that chance to go to the G League to learn my craft, to perfect my craft with people who are like me, and I'm playing against other NBA players, because a lot of them been in the G League 2-3 years. So if I'm playing against other people of that caliber, I want that experience.
Other professionals.
Yeah, I want him to have that experience over that college experience, because the only thing that sucks is the fallback plan. At least with college, you got that fallback plan. But I feel like with the G League, I got that fallback plan, because I can take $200,000, sit there to the side, like you said, you're making $5. I can take about $2 or $100, sit it to the side, so I can go to college at the same time. So.
And I believe that the G League program that takes the high school kids, they also do like work type of things to get them set for the real world. So it's not all basketball at the end of the day. It's just that I don't know if I'm ready for my son. I got to think about that as far as saying, damn, I'm ready for you to grow up and do this thing. Not to say that he's not going to have a hell of a time in college, because trust me, I did. And so he's going to.
I'm going to be honest with you, not to cut in. But if it was up to me and my son was like, Dad, do you want me to go to college or do you want me to go to the G League? I'm going to look at him and I'm going to say one thing.
Quarter meal's always good.
That's all you got to tell him, man. You know what I'm saying? You go with the money. And yes, we got the sound back.
It's so all money good money, though. That's the question we got to ask. All money, good money.
Yeah.
You know what I got to say to that, Cap? You know what I got to say to that, Cap?
It was good then, and it's sure as hell still good now.
That's why I'm here. That's the setup. That's the alley. Because I knew you was gonna play that next. That's the alley. But I think
I'm gonna be honest with you. Side story, not to cut y'all off. I was at my brother's wedding, of course. I was the best man. Shout out to my brother Chuck. And I had to give a speech. And at the end of the speech, I was like, as far as those vows, it was good then, and as sure as heavens, it's still good now. He was one of the only people that caught the reference. And when I tell you it was a good, hearty laugh from a really deep place, I just want you guys to know. Rest in peace, X. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't have that line to enjoy every day. One time for the man X. Continue. Go ahead.
But no, because I can understand. Don't get me wrong. You're actually right now. If I want to take $250,000, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. It's just I have to think about my son's future at the end of the day. And me personally, I would love for him to be able to utilize the college experience. But that's because I think more money's gonna follow if he enhances himself in college. That's just my opinion.
No. I agree with that. If my son was a LeBron Jr. or if he was like, Jalen Green, if he's of that stature, Cade Cunningham, if he's like them, go to the G League. But if I know you're somewhere between, if you're either late first round or second round, I'm gonna tell you go to college, because you can also enhance your draft stock in college the same way you can in the G League. So, excuse me. I really feel like it's a situational, but I'm probably going G League. In my opinion, I'm probably going G League.
There's nothing wrong.
I like it. That's good.
So I do got one more topic. I don't know how much longer we all got, but I got one more topic I want us to touch.
Come on, man, bring it.
The Team USA roster came out today.
Mm-hmm.
The 12-man final roster. on that roster was, and I'm gonna read you guys the whole roster before we get into it: Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard, Bradley Beal, Jason Tatum, Devin Booker, Zach LaVine, Kevin Love, Bam Adebayo, Draymond Green, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and it was James Harden, but James Harden pulled out because of injuries. And he wants to be ready for next season. So his replacement was Jeremy Grant, which was a question mark for me because I was like, Jeremy Grant, really? Jeremy Grant? Okay.
He checks the boxes. He's American.
I guess, hey. But so I'm looking down at the roster, the final roster. I like it. I like a lot of the names. On paper, it looks like a great roster. A little small, a little bit, but on paper, I like the way it looks. They got some good defense. They got some great offense. They got some dogs. Draymond is a dog. Let's be honest. Dame is a dog. Kevin, Brad Beal, Jason Tatum, Devin Booker, and Zach LaVine, dogs. Kevin Love, he gives that veteran leadership, and I like that. And I think this will help revive Kevin's career. I think ever since he went to Cleveland and LeBron left Cleveland, Kevin Love has went like this. Now Bam Adebayo,
Bullshit.
right?
Sorry,
you know what I'm gonna say, Josh?
My finger slipped. Go ahead.
Yeah, whatever. Bam Adebayo should be Jeremy Grant.
Absolutely.
Those two I don't understand. Me personally. And I know you guys will get some insight why they should be there or why they shouldn't. I like Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton though. I'm gonna tell you, Drew Holiday has really showed up. He has a lot of dog in him. And he's shown it the last 3-4 seasons with New Orleans and now with Milwaukee. And I like Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton's he's one of them players that just puts his hard hat on, brings his lunch pail, and shows up to work. So I like the roster.
I like Chris Middleton too.
But as much as I like the roster, I don't see us winning gold this year.
My thoughts is I think they can be had. Don't get me wrong. If they win gold, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, well, I'm shocked that this team won gold because on paper, you put the best that you had to offer that are of American-born players. So you did the best you could. And so when you think of then other teams, is it going to be Spain's year? Is it going to be Turkey's year, or so on and so forth? Who's gonna fight the U.S.?
Them Gasol brothers is playing for Spain this year.
Spain.
Hey.
Well, Marc Gasol is rooted to the floor, so I don't know how much playing he's going to be able to do. But
let me tell y'all something, boy. Mark and Pau Gasol playing for their home country.
Different. Totally different.
Do not count them out. Like Spain is going to be one of those teams.
And Ricky Rubio. Ricky Rubio also.
Yeah, Ricky Rubio.
Playing for them.
You got to remember Ben Simmons playing back at home.
He's playing for Australia.
Yeah, he's actually great in the international play. It's a little different. So, there's quite a few teams. You got to remember, the NBA is full of foreign players. You got Luka, you got Kristaps. Like, you got to remember them playing for their home team.
Yeah.
You got the French team is amazing.
It's just going to be tough because isn't the finals about the same? How far from the finals or the playoffs ending is then the Olympic basketball team going to start to have to play? Because most of these people are out, other than Middleton and.
I'm about to say Middleton, Booker.
Yeah, Middleton and Drew Holiday are the only ones that still are playing basketball. Everybody else can get together now.
Yeah, Middleton, Holiday, and Booker are the only ones still in.
So I don't see them. Get up.
And depending on how far those two teams go, it's not that far off from what I know.
Okay.
It's like they might have like maybe.
I typically don't watch until they're starting the medal rounds, so to speak. I very seldomly watch any prior to preliminary group games.
I'm the same way with track. Like I'm big into track this year. Not only because of
Sha'Carri Richardson.
Sha'Carri Richardson, but I've always watched track. Track is interesting.
I bet it is.
I ran track in high school. Shut up. I actually like track.
I thought you were gonna hit him with the Dr. Phil.
When my kids doing track, track is actually great.
Bullshit.
I'll tell you that, Shad. I'll throw that in there for you. My man Cap, you know what I'm saying? Not Cap.
Crawford said he wants to see your resume. He wants some trophies.
My man Smash is over there talking about something. He loves track. He be over there looking at him running, talking about something.
I'm saying I want a mango.
That's,
Oh, no.
you know what I'm saying?
And I do. But that was why I ran track.
I think this is because it's weird that it's like we're having this Olympics in the off year. I think they should have honestly waited till 2022 when we would have, I guess, a full recovery from the pandemic because it seems rushed, but it doesn't seem like it's getting that support. But
and ain't it going down? They said in Tokyo.
Tokyo, that's correct. Absolutely correct. Absolutely. Well, it was going to happen in Tokyo regardless.
Yeah, that's not a bad place for the Olympics.
Bullshit.
Sorry, go ahead. Continue.
But I don't think it's going to be the dream team of old when we look at USA basketball. I don't think they're going to be whipping on people.
Didn't we lose last time we had the Olympics out there in China?
No, that was in
Beijing.
Japan. This is Japan.
No, we won in Beijing. We lost in Sydney. That's where it was.
Okay, never mind then. I take it back.
But here's the thing with that: the team in Sydney damn sure looked like this team that they're bringing to Tokyo, other than Kevin Durant. And so,
and that's why I said they're
that's the thing. That's why they're susceptible. I mean, last time I said I knew a team that was going to be anchored by Stephon Marbury wasn't going to win the gold. Just my
Yeah, I'm out of love.
So my whole thing is, right, you have a lot of, and it's like this every year with the Dream Team.
Right.
Who's your point guard? Your true point.
Drew Holiday.
Okay. Is that your starting point?
By default, from what I'm looking at that roster.
Because
where did they make this roster from? That's what I want to know.
No, so basically what happened?
Jerry Colangelo and nobody else.
Yeah, they have a lot of names.
The 3-year
A
commitment.
lot of people that throw their name in the hat and say, "Hey, I want to play Olympic basketball or play for the Olympic team this year." They look at all the names they have, and Jerry Colangelo and Greg Popovich, who's their head coach now, they get together, and I think it's a couple other people, and they really look at the list, and they say, "Hey, okay, this is who we want to invite for the team." And I mean, it's a good team on paper. On paper, I mean, you got Kevin Durant.
I have a gripe.
I told you, the only two names I'm like, why are you here? Is Jeremy Grant.
Where was Melo's invite?
And
Y'all know
Jeremy
Melo
technically is on the team by default because James Harden was there.
Right.
I think Bam is there because he's probably the only true big man.
I know he's not. Stop.
No, listen to what I'm saying.
Bullshit.
Will we cut this out?
You knew you were walking into the Hornets net saying that. You knew that.
We are not talking about your Miami Heat right now. We're not.
So out of everybody in the league that they could have brought in as a big man, they said, you know what? Bam. We're going to go with Bam. That's like me saying, yo, what is your favorite type of chips in the variety bag of chips? And you say, you know what? Fritos and Funyuns. Those are the last ones eaten in the whole box.
Actually, no. Funyuns get eaten first.
No, they do not.
I'm not going to eat them, but people don't eat the Funyuns. People don't eat the Funyuns, man.
They're all, no. So you go eat the Funyuns before the Doritos, the barbecue Lay's, the chili cheese Fritos.
Yes.
You got all those options.
Chili cheese Fritos overrated.
Hold on. I don't like any of
Whoa!
you just named. I don't.
Bullshit.
You watch your mouth, Sean. You watch your mouth
All of those
about those guys. Those chili cheese Fritos. Those are legendary.
Those are nasty.
You know what? You're nasty. How about that? Okay? Nobody likes you. Okay, how about that? How would you like it?
Any of that?
I mean, the first set of chips I'm going to eat is going to be the Doritos. After that, it's a free for all. And the sour cream Lay's.
The last chips always left are the regular Fritos.
That's
and the Cheetos.
sour cream Lay's,
Hold
man.
on.
You tripping.
And regular Fritos are amazing. What are you talking about?
The regular Fritos and Cheetos are always the last to get eaten.
Hell no.
Everybody picks around those in the variety bag.
No, because it's the plain Lay's. It's really the last that's always going to get
The
eaten.
plain Lay's actually getting last.
It depends on what you go for. Some people like them. I don't like them.
But I do think chili cheese Fritos are overrated. They're good. They're just
Let me
overrated.
tell you something.
Not overrated.
I'm gonna tell you the chips that get tossed to the guests. The chili cheese Fritos. Because don't nobody eat them shits around here. The hell? The kids don't
But
eat
when
them.
we thinking about Bam, is he really the best person at the 5 that America has?
The
But
point.
you have to
America.
remember,
That's the
I
point.
mean, I don't know who threw
Dwight Howard would have been a better pickup
But
than
Dwight
Bam.
Howard-
in my opinion.
No.
But Dwight didn't
No.
know his name.
I don't trust that they be playing overseas.
Not even that. We can't say, oh, he might have been good. He didn't throw his name in the hat, so he don't count.
Did he? Do we know that?
No, that's the thing about that because we don't know the pool unless we have the pool, and that will be the answer to that because you're right because you do have Jokic. He's going to play for his home country. Gobert, he needs to stay in his home country, and or where he's going to play. So it's a limited selection, and that's why we need to redevelop that 5. It brings it back to the discussion of
I think that,
redeveloping the
I put
5.
it this way. I think that we're in the era of the 5 becoming important again, a real 5.
I think
yes, sir. I think that people are finally realizing that that's an important spot.
Yes, sir.
Just like I believe that football is going to start implementing more fullbacks in the future to come. I think that's going to be a thing as well.
I disagree.
They
The reason I disagree about the fullback is because how much does he help the passing game?
Oh, tremendously.
A lot.
Tremendously. Because this is why I say this. This is why I say this. A fullback gives you an extra blocker when your line is weak. And right now, the problem that a lot of people have is that they have weak lines. Their quarterbacks are getting hit. And what's the way to not only get an extra person out there to block, but you can also use him to run or in the screen game. He's an extra utilized.
So why would I not want to use a second tight end? Why would I not want to use a second tight end instead of a?
Because right now they're using the tight ends as wide receivers. The tight end is being slowly washed out, just like the fullback was being washed out. Because a traditional tight end does what first? He blocks. And then another thing, then after he blocks, they used to be that you used him in the run, on like a jet sweep. Now he's used primarily for the pass, and he blocks second.
Because of people like Gronkowski, who the Patriots initially used just to block, and said, "Oh man, this son of a bitch can catch too," and nobody's bringing him down. I'm gonna throw it to Gronkowski.
I'll take it. I'll go further. I'll say Jason Witten, only because he was setting the standard before Gronk and before Zach Ertz. So to me, he was the real dynamic tight end that everybody was like, "Yo, him, Tony Gonzalez, your Shannon Sharps." They were like, "Yo, we need versatile tight ends now because they can catch. Not only can they block, but blocking is like a secondary trait." And that's what we've seen. That's what we've seen happen. And as a result of that, you don't have blocking tight ends anymore.
I just don't know if bringing the fullback, doing the I form, or having them in the pistol is going to help somebody like Patrick Mahomes.
They're already running. My thing is this: they're already running the pistol, right? Imagine if you had somebody like a Patrick Mahomes with
maybe he had Lorenzo Neal in his prime or something like that.
I would say I'm go recent. You have somebody like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Yeah, somebody like a. Yeah. There you go. And then you got somebody like a Mike Allstott beside him in a pistol.
No, because I think if Pat Mahomes had a fullback like Juszczyk from San Francisco, I will say he will probably be that anomaly of a fullback and say, you know what, he can help him because he can catch. Really
well, see, I'm not even looking at the fullback for the catch. I'm looking at him for the run. That's a traditional 1-2 punch because they're always on the field. And at that point, you don't know who's going to get the ball.
We didn't see Kansas City have an offensive line problem until they got to Tampa Bay in February. That's it. Their running backs the year before with Damian Williams did just fine as far as being able to create the run and help out with Patrick Mahomes.
Well, see, my thing is this.
Fullbacks.
My thing is this: would you think that Tampa Bay would have had such an easy time getting through that line if Mahomes had a fullback to not only lean on for the block, but if they just used him to run up the middle? My thing is this: you fake run up the middle with the fullback on a third and short. You're going after the muscle. You're not thinking about the quarterback. And he's one of those people who can do the play fake very well to where he can make the
Kansas City had a
work.
lot of game plan issues in that game that didn't just stem from the offensive line. Could a blocking fullback help them have won this, made it a better game? Yes,
Absolutely.
and it just get back to the 5.
Smashes, you say that, but look at
we should have got away from the 5.
My thing is this: Smashes, you say that, right? People wouldn't have said the same thing about Jimmy G. This is Jimmy G we're talking about, not Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in football currently. If a fullback in that system can make Jimmy G a competitor, why wouldn't it make a Super Bowl contender one step closer to being a champion?
Did y'all watch the Super Bowl?
Absolutely.
Did y'all see the way so you're telling me one player added to that offense and protecting?
Well, let's look at what happened. Did Patrick Mahomes not have to run for his life?
So again, I ask one player.
I said make it a better game. I didn't say they win. I said it makes it a better game.
I would say that takes them one step closer.
Because if I have that one more line of defense blocking me so I don't have to run for my life,
he had 4
like
people.
what Prophet is saying, I agree there.
So you had one blocker that takes away one person. He still had 3 people on his ass.
Okay, look, I'll give you this. Here's the thing, right? You said that he had 3 people.
Mahomes. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely not nothing against him. He, like Josh just said, or Prophet, I'm sorry. He's the best quarterback in football, regardless of.
I think it changed. It just changed the trajectory of what the game would have been, and that's Prophet's point. I think so.
Exactly, and the reason why I say that is this: you now have to prepare for the fullback, just like you have to prepare for the running back, just like you got to prepare for the wide receivers, just like you got to prepare for the tight ends. And to be honest with you, it may not. It sounds elementary, but in simple terms, if you blitzing that many people, then the middle is open. You need to be doing more cross routes. You need to be doing more turnarounds 5 yards after the snap instead of trying to do the long passes, instead of trying to do the short runs if you don't have the weight. Now, if I have a fullback, I'm going to leverage the weight of the fullback to push the line. Because even if you're not going to get running plays away, it's called keeping the defense honest. Now you have to account for the run, because I've got it in your mind that we're going to run the ball 4 times in a drive. We're going to run the ball 5 times in a drive. We're not only going to get this 4 and out, but we're going to abuse you. We're going to keep knocking at the door, because at some point you're going to get tired of having to drag this big motherfucker to the ground, and I'll be able to put one over your head.
You will not win the title in the NFL if you can't run. You will not.
Absolutely. It's been proven time and time again. And my thing is this: what is the one problem that running teams have right now? Is that they lean too much on their primary running back because they do not have a 1-2 punch. The system was not made for multiple running backs for the 1-2. It was made for you to have a running back and a fullback, a bruiser and an elusive back. And to be honest with you, the last team to really do a running back room traditionally right was the New York Giants, when they had Tiki Barber, when they have Ahmad Bradshaw, and when they had.
I would say it was post Tiki, because
I agree.
Nobody could really shine in the current Tiki era. He had 1,200, 1,300 yards almost every year for a reason. Because
so you would say it was the Brandon Jacobs.
I would say the Brandon Jacobs, Ahmad Bradshaw, because Jacobs is practically a fullback that has nifty feet.
That's my point.
So that's my
point. I agree with you, because one of my favorite teams, even though I'm an Eagles fan, was the Seahawks. And not the new Seahawks. I'm talking about the old Seahawks that had Sean Alexander. And they had Michael Robinson at fullback.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Mike Rob.
That team, even with whatchamacallit at quarterback. That team was
Hasselbeck.
That was one of my even though again I was.
But wasn't Mike Robb on the team with Beast Mode and them when they won the title? If I'm not mistaken, or is that not correct?
No, I don't think Mike Robb was. He might have been because I think he retired after that.
Yeah, as far as I can remember, I think he was still there as far as having that championship
But
pedigree.
Mike Robb was probably the last fullback in the league, and once he retired, the fullback.
I thought it was Lorenzo Neal, but it could have been that. So.
No, I think it was. I think Mike Robinson was the last one. It might
Like
have been O'Neal.
everyday fullback of that kind of thing, because I know Baltimore is doing it right now, and remember, fullback is still a Pro Bowl position, so it's hard, and it's an All Pro and a Pro Bowl position.
So you guys play video games just like I do. When you look at any of the rosters on Madden, a lot of teams don't have a fullback.
Don't have fullback, but you know, one of the things I say is the team that finds a way to utilize the fullback is the one. Yeah, I was gonna say the team that does utilize the fullback properly, I believe, will be the next team to take over. And the reason why I say that is because you can have a fullback, but if you're not using him right, like my man Shad said, most people utilize the tight end too as their fullback. And again, it goes back to what I was saying with Bam. You're playing them out of position. You're playing them out of position. The team that values that fullback position goes and gets a bona fide fullback. And it just saves you the time and space because you don't have to go so deep in your locker room for running back. And not only that, but
go ahead, my bad.
No, I was gonna say it goes back to the fact of you don't have to have an overcrowded running back room and do all this if you incorporate a fullback in your system and play him as such. I feel like if the Eagles would have had LeGarrette Blount, kept him an extra year, moved him to fullback, kept Jordan Howard at running back, and then had Miles Sanders, we would have been difficult to stop.
But I'm gonna tell you where it starts at. It starts at the high school. I ain't gonna say below high school. It starts at the high school level. If they notice that the NFL is not using fullback, why am I gonna keep this? This kid like no, you can be a great blocker and a fullback, but there's no fullback in the NFL. So it's like I can bring him in as a fullback in high school or in college. But he's going to get to the NFL and get drowned out because no team uses a fullback. So
I can agree with you too.
It's a balance.
Go ahead, Shad. My bad.
No, there's an issue with that. It does start in college, absolutely right, because you got to look at the offenses that colleges run now. No, 5 or 6 teams run pro-style offenses. Everybody else is in a spread where I don't need to and they run it from the shotgun. I don't need my fullback in the shotgun. He does nothing for me back there. And all I'm going to do is, and that's where the majority of people are colleges are playing. So you don't have a Miami that needs their fullback.
That's not necessarily true in the sense that I understand they do the spread shotguns, right? And I understand, it's a difference between pro, right? My thing is this: it's all about the system. Because there was a time when it was a run-first league until the West Coast offense was invented. And now everybody wants to run, from the shotgun. Well, my thing is this. You get a system where even with the shotgun, they've got shotgun packages that give you a dual-back system. And if you run a screen in a dual-back system, most people have that second back as a blocker. Picture this for a second. You're on a defense. You see the quarterback lined up in the shotgun in a dual-back system. You see one running out for the screen and you see another one running out, you're going to assume he's a blocker. How many people account for 2 catchers in the screen with the rest of the line as the run? Nobody, because they assume there's only going to be one eligible receiver. With the fullback out there, that gives you 2. I'm just saying that's one way you use a fullback in a spread shotgun offense.
But what I'm saying is you're on the point about it. It's still what the colleges are going to run is what the issue here is. It's like Miami is the only team, and yes, I'm a huge Hurricanes fan, so it's easy for me to follow them, that's running that I form. We need our fullback is going to be involved in the offense, and there's nothing you're going to do about it. And that's why they're still perennial ACC contenders as a result, because you know what? My fullback needs me. Florida State, another college. I'm not running a lot of plays. I'm running a lot of my plays under center. And yes, Smash, I hate them too, but I have to give the devil their due. They do not run a lot of plays from the shotgun. That's why a lot of these college quarterbacks struggle, is because they don't know what it's like to be under center because they haven't done it since Friday night in high school. So it's been a minute. And then you got to go ahead. They have to play 3 years in college. But in college right now, it's not a lot of fullbacks. Also, the other thing that I find interesting about looking at this fullback list just now, where the brothers at? Where the brothers at? Where the brothers at?
I don't think there's been a black fullback since
Marcel Reese is the only person on this list that I not only immediately recognized, but is a brother. Tommy Bohannon, not a brother. James Devlin, not a brother. Kyle Juszczyk, not a brother. Derek Watt, not a brother.
But you know what? I believe also a part of that is because they see brothers who can do that and just say, fuck it, we're going to make him a running back.
Derek Watt is TJ and JJ, they're on the line. But Derek Watt is a fullback for Pittsburgh.
He's the youngest brother, right?
Yeah, correct. He's the youngest brother, yes. But where's the brothers? Where's the brothers? In the fullback?
Like I said, I believe that they look at the brothers and just make them running backs. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, in a previous day, and in a day of old, I believe Marshawn Lynch would have been a fullback.
Evolution. No, he still would have been a running back.
I respectfully disagree with you, and I say that because most fullbacks I know don't have shifty feet like Marshawn does. And fullback is not to me a footwork position. It's not to me, and I think that running back is a footwork position where
crazy? Yes. Even when Mike Allstott became more of a running back than a fullback, it was because he dropped weight and they started using him more at running back. That was actually when the fullback position started moving away. He dropped weight, started getting quicker and shiftier with his feet. He was still powerful, but his speed got up.
And I don't intend to make it a cultural thing. That was not my goal in that. But I am going to raise the question here: is that is you got to think of who is your market in football, who represents your league, and 85% of it looks like us. And so, when that position is dying, it's because of that, and that's going to be one of the reasons.
And I mean, let's be honest. Like we said, when the NFL started shifting away from fullback, it had nothing to do with color. It was one of them things like that.
Peyton Manning killed the fullback position.
It was kind of one of them things where it was like, we don't need this.
It's a fact of life. Can you name a fullback on the coach? You can't.
Like I said, it trickled down. You got colleges were like, well, we're not gonna prepare you for the NFL at fullback. We're gonna find you another position, because if I prepare you for fullback, you get to the NFL as a fullback, and all you know is fullback. You can't do nothing else. You can't.
Name me New Orleans as fullback. You can't, because passing, high volume passing quarterbacks don't need that fat motherfucker. They don't have a need for him.
I mean, fullbacks.
Or they feel they don't have a need for him. But there's also a reason why Peyton has 2 rings and Drew only has 1, and Tom Brady, who has used his fullback, has 7. And so that I will then defer to Prophet on that. As far as, is there a need for the fullback? Yes, but because of where the league was going or is going, where 400-yard passing games put asses in the seats and not 20-yard touchdown runs, and if it wasn't for a running back like Ezekiel Elliott or Saquon Barkley, who made the touchdown run a little bit better, then it's going to be passes are going to put asses in the seats.
So just to look this up real quick, there are 14 of the 32 teams that have a fullback signed to a multi-year deal, and the average yearly salary for the position is $1.16 million. This is back in 2019.
It doesn't matter.
And that's fine. But remember, but how many of those teams that have a fullback use the motherfucker? I can pay you to be on the roster to not do shit.
Well, no, I mean, I wasn't saying that. I and that's to my point. We can't name 5 teams that rightfully have a fullback, let alone use them right. But like Big Shot said, you know what I'm saying? The teams that do have found success, the teams that do it the right way. And I think at the end of the day, though, fans like those long throws, you know what I'm saying? 80-yard, catches, yak and all that other shit. at the end of the day, I believe that traditional football, not football of old, but just the traditional things of football, running the ball first,
11
blocking
positions.
first. You know what I'm saying? The principles. I believe that's at the end of the day what's going to end up winning games. Because, like you said, you know, people can say it's a passing league now, though that puts chairs in seats. The team that runs the ball the best is going to be the team that ends up winning the game at the end of the day, because they're going to be able to control the flow of the game.
Similar to basketball with the 3-point shot. Yes, it's glamorous and glorious in the regular season, but outside of Golden State, not a lot of high volume 3-point
High percentage buckets.
They will, because at the end of the day, yes, they did figure out the math is going to be 3 is going to be better than 2 any day of the week. However, not everybody can do it. And if you do it all season, your legs are tired. That's what happens to a lot of these teams, because you got tired legs. And you're shooting all those threes. And you're not getting back to your
strong knees.
That's what it is.
These my strong knees. But yeah, man, I think
I think we gotta get back to the 5. We gotta get back to the 5.
Absolutely. I think it's gonna be interesting, man. Like I said, Atlanta takes game 1. Let's see if the Bucks can be the Bucks.
They're definitely gonna adjust. They're gonna adjust.
The Bucks are gonna have a lot of thinking to do if this one doesn't go their way. That's all I'm
It's
gonna
not
say.
gonna, I don't think it's gonna go their way, bro.
I think they're gonna have a lot of thinking to do.
I got 2 words that have me in high hopes that they're not gonna make it. My
Spring this year.
money. And you know why?
It was good then, and it's sure in hell still good now.
Ask every other team I put money on.
Giannis gets his first ring.
So now you can see the
Bullshit.
I'm sorry, that button was made just for moments like that.
I'll tell you this right now: if the Bucks make it out the East, they better hope they get LA, because from what I'm seeing from Phoenix, nobody's getting Phoenix. I'll put that on record right now.
If I'm the Bucks, I would rather have Phoenix than LA, to be honest. Because with LA, you still gotta, if Kawhi is healthy, you gotta deal with a healthy Kawhi and a PG. You gotta deal with a Rondo, playoff Rondos.
But they're 2 of the best defensive teams, so they're gonna cancel each other out.
Yeah.
Do you know that if the if Phoenix closes out the Clippers and they sweep the Clippers, they're going into the finals with the confidence of a nigga who woke up with a porn star's penis. I'm just gonna be real with you. It's gonna be hard to stop any of these niggas from going in there and not having their way in the finals.
Yesterday's game alone created a confidence level that I would take to the moon, because I didn't think they were gonna win.
And my nigga Chris Paul is at home with the Suds. Like, let's keep it a buck. He at home with the Suds, and these niggas is still playing like he's on the bus. He probably is.
He shouldn't have been home anyway. He was vaccinated.
He was vaccinated and still got sick.
He doesn't have it. He was among someone that did.
He didn't get anything. It was
He didn't. He was just similar to what LeBron did, but he's not LeBron. But
that's crazy because he's the leader of the players' organization.
So when is he gonna be back?
He'll be back tomorrow night.
Game 3.
Tomorrow night he is probable, so he will be in the lineup. You can.
So the Clippers don't have a chance, is what you're saying.
For game 3?
Not against a healthy Chris Paul, no.
And Kawhi's out again. Kawhi's out for game 3.
I
wonder why Kawhi is out, because he wants to be out of LA.
He might be back for game 4.
He pulled this shit with San Antonio. He's pulling it again.
Nothing wrong.
I ain't mad at him either. If y'all gave me $41 million, I'm staying home too. So,
I mean, you know, look. That just goes to show you can make $250,000, you can make $20 an hour, you can make $750. A nigga gonna call out of work every time. I'm sorry, it's just gonna happen.
I'm thinking about calling out tomorrow. Shit.
So relax. But I tell you what, man, It's been a great show so far, man. Y'all want to say anything before we cut cloth talk for this week? I know we covered quite a bit. This last little bracket, man, is gonna be interesting because once this is it, this off season, I feel like it's gonna be real wildly, and then football season jumping off, this shit's gonna be insane.
I think it is just because you got the NBA off season, you got the Olympics, then going into football season. So usually when we have a boring, usually we would have a boring summer.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're a baseball fan or you like NASCAR, and I like both. I do. I will be at RIR this year, quite often. Shout out to the brother-in-law. I don't know. I think it's just gonna be interesting. Like the play between who's in the finals, then how Team USA does in the Olympics, how the Olympics goes just in general, because it's a lot. Like we have a lot of black athletes that made the Olympics,
and I love it.
Swimming,
I love it.
Gymnastics. Simone Biles is back.
Swimming. We have Simone Manuel swimming as well.
Yeah.
The young ladies in the track and field is going to be. I think it's going to be a really good Olympics for not only just the USA but us as far as cultural representation. I think we are going to have a good summer.
Yeah, because we have a lot more of us there than we've had in a very long time. So I'm excited for the summer, man.
Shouts out to Juneteenth and black people showing up worldwide. One time for Black fathers, and black men don't cheat.
But also give a shout out to my man right here. This is the America that I represent. Free my man Cap. Free him.
I agree. Free Cap. Also, justice for Cap. Those shirts are gonna come out soon in magenta. But high key though. As far as like I said, these next couple games, I really can't say too much more, man. I mean, the playoffs have definitely not gone the way that I expected, which, I feel like it's for our benefit because I don't think that it's any fun when you can guess everything and every time. But like you said, Smash, it's a terrible time in sports. It's a very low time in sports that goes on at this time.
Even
one of the things that
crazy.
Well, I mean, I don't follow, football with a U, but as far as
it's crazy, like every sport is crazy.
These last 2 years have been very fortunate for sports lovers, with the bubble leading right into the football season, and then the football season starting on time. We really haven't had a downtime in sports for ourselves. I
think it's going to be beautiful because this is what we have for when the NFL season starts. We'll actually be able to be in the stands, and I think that's just amazing because I was looking back at the playoff games and not seeing anybody in the stands until the Super Bowl was wild to me. But
part of the joy of the fake noise, it can never be the real. Your team getting booed coming off the stadium and you feeling it through the TV. And then you out there cursing people out with the fans in the stands, it's
gonna be different, bro.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's always the 12th man out there. The fans. That 12th man.
I think honestly that affected some teams, to be honest. But I will see. We're gonna see something really big. But it's a great time to be a sports fan. And who would have thought that? Of all things, The Last Dance was the thing that spawned this off as far as a great series of things happening in sports when we were all locked down last week. And now we have like the fact that because of COVID, the sports are so close together and back to back, we're going to have the start of the NBA season around the World Series. And the football season is going to be in high gear. Probably week 6 or 7 with the World Series as well. It's still
I'm gonna say week 3 because I'm gonna be honest. The way that they got some of these games and matchups, it's about to get.
I will
crazy.
be the minority and say I'm against 17 played games, but I get it. I get why they're doing it, and it gives us one more week to banter and stuff like that. But it's gonna. I think we have a great sports slate on deck. It's gonna be incredible.
I will say this: next week, I do want to Sorry, my bad, Smashes. But next week, I am going to be asking, should they bring back that pass interference challenge for refs in football, or should there be a ref challenge in football? I think that needs to be discussed on Cloth Talk as well.
Not just football. It should be a ref challenge in a lot of shit, because I feel like the last couple years, these refs are ass.
Oh, we're going to talk about it. We definitely gonna talk about it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Like all of it.
I got some words for the refs. We got some situations, and also we're gonna be talking about some of these new rules that might be implemented on some of these offensive fouls in basketball. If y'all saw that as well. But until next time, guys, I'm gonna pass this over to Smashes right quick, so that way he can close us out. I want to thank Shy P for jumping in this joint, man. Of course, dropping in the knowledge. The Chronicles are coming. Everything that we said is coming is definitely coming. I know y'all probably like to keep saying it every week.
Absolutely.
But everything, whoever said progress wasn't a slow process won't talk about me. I'm not a PIMP. I'm just a guy doing a podcast. Smashes, it's all you.
Hey man, Cloth Talk. Look. Damn, I can't say that. Cloth Talk Network, Cloth Talk Podcast. I want you to follow us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook. Yes. Please tap in, hit the like button, hit the follow button, hit the bell button. Definitely every week we're gonna try to at least bring you one pod every week from Cloth Talk. Pretty soon, all of us, our schedules are crazy, but everybody has their individual work and individual podcasts. So pay attention, man. We definitely we gonna be we're getting into the thick of things. So it's gonna be great.
Hey, you funny with that one. I'm sorry. I saw what you did there. Big Todd?
Yeah, the Chronicles, Sharky Chronicles is coming real soon. Just trying to put some logistics together as far as how I'm gonna go ahead and throw that first episode, because I really want to hit y'all in the head with something amazing. And of course, again, just like how we do on Cloth Talk, it's not gonna be all sports branded. We're gonna have some real discussion and some real dialogue going on. Big boy dialogue is going to be taking place. But in becoming July is tentatively the time frame that we will have it all together. I assure you of that. It will start on the audio format first, just as far as the first episode. Then we'll do episodes just like these as well. But I'm going to be here, Cloth Talk, for as long as y'all have me. And make sure that every week we're going to be giving it to you rugged and raw, as we absolutely are doing. And we thank you, the fan, for showing up. All I can say is good night.
All right, y'all, man. Again, before I get out of here, OnlyFans is on streaming Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, all of that, man. Please go support your boy and holler at it. Roll 2 tape coming out soon. Until then, man, this is Cloth Talk. We signing out. Love y'all. Peace.